Testing. Okay. So my new version is this. The no flip stuff. Yeah, what can I do with it, you know? I guess a square. I can use the old square, I guess. Where's my square here? It's the old square, and now we have a no flip square. Do I really need that difference? What is the difference? The old square is a struct around n and m, and that's just it. And now we have a distance less. I don't think I need that. No, I don't need that. Canonical, so we drop that. Is next to. Okay, that would be, yeah. Up, yep, up. Mirror. Yeah, I think I don't use that anymore. And must be able to print them, and they must compare equal. I have a completely new system to mirror, and we're no longer caring about the order in which stuff. I mean, if you have a square, I really don't care anymore that they are more or less ordered in grouping around the corner, so that if all pieces are close to the corner, or at least the black king, etc., then it's ordered first in my map. I mean, who cares? Canonical is to do with the flipping, so that goes. And these are stored in an array now, so I'll show you the difference. The new thing looks like this. These are actually indexes, index into this array. You know? Where's my array? Yeah, this array. So normally at index 0 we have the x coordinate, and at index 1 I have the y coordinate in this array. And then I can very, very cheaply swap everything by just changing x into a 1 and y into a 0. Very cheaply. And then you have this little static thing that just returns the standard pair as 0, 1. I'll show you the code that uses this. And then I access it like this. So instead of dot x we use, or n previously, now it's called x then. Instead of dot x I just use call operator square brackets x. Well, we can still compare equal, and I can still print it. So apart from the old is next to, I think my new version is better. Yeah, I'll just keep that one. I'll copy this on over, and then we can delete this file because there's nothing left that I need from it. I'll put it here. Which means that I'm gonna move the no flip square over the square, which of course gives a big diff here. Well, I just completely rewrote it now. And that also means that everywhere where I'm including no flip square, now I have to include the just square dot h, right? And that must be removed. Wait a minute. I guess that also means, by the way, that I have to rename noflipsquare.cxx. Or rather, yeah, rename it. Remove the first one here, this one. Yeah, that's a distant less that I just drop. And printing here is done by printing 2 coordinates with normal parentheses around it. That's what I do here as well. So that looks good. And then oops. Yeah, I think that's it. So, okay. Let's rename the header file. What the hell? Surprising. Oh, I just copied the is next to. Yeah, it doesn't work anymore like that. This should be array coordinates at x, and this is pos at x. And here we have coordinates at y and pos at coordinate y, of the y coordinate of pos, whatever. And these are just static const expressions, so it really doesn't matter if I have 2 ints here as separate x and y or use an array. Compiler understands exactly what I mean if I use these things. Yeah, what? Why would coordinates x not work? Hi, the radar. I'm working on a program that analyzes a quarter infinite chessboard with a king plus rook versus king. And this is just one square of that chessboard. The coordinate of the square, the 0, 0 is the corner. And the coordinates are always positive, therefore. And then they're stored here. And now it's telling me that this doesn't compile. What the heck? I don't see it. Use undeclared identifier. Oh, wait a minute. Yes, I get it. If I use that, then you should do using namespace coordinates. Apps is not known. At the moment include cmath. Okay, it compiles again, but yeah, since now I added is next to, maybe I should use it. And that is then in the new code where I'm using standard apps of the difference of 2 things for both x and y. So if I do the grep source for standard apps and then look at the no flip, sorry, this is the only one, right? No, I just renamed square, or did I not rename square yet? Oh boy. Damn it. I did rename square. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I did. So this is already the new one. I did send the implementation of that stuff. And this is something else. This is old code, something else. So the only two places where I am actually doing something comparable, and well, not even here, because this just compares the y coordinate. I think this is the only one then. Yes, so this seems to look like what I'm doing here. I can compare that here. So the x minus another x is less than or equal 1, and the absolute coordinates, sorry, the absolute value of a y coordinate, and yeah, okay, so that is exactly the same thing. So instead of doing this, I should use next to, or what was it called? Is next to. And then we're talking about the black king and the white king. Oh, what am I doing? Without x. And it still runs. Okay, what is next? I'm no longer using the type rook or black or white king. I begin with the rook. The rook is just, well, it's a class, but it's just a wrapper around the square. And I don't think I really need that. Not really. Maybe I need this. Hi, average brain. So if I need this, then I have to either add this to the square object, and why not? Or I have to reintroduce a rook. I'm not sure the benefit of that is yet, really, actually. So my new board, sorry, it's a no flip board here. My new board is as a board size, and then just a square object for the black king and the white king and the rook. So it's a tiny little bit less type safe. You can now confuse the three without being warned by the compiler. That's the only drawback, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to leave this. Just use the new board. Okay, so introduction of the new board. The new board has an abbreviations object which returns a tuple of 3 references to the 3 squares. So it's kind of a monster accessor where you access all the 3 references at once, and then you can give them names. That's why I call it abbreviations. So I'll show you how I use this. So like this. I just do auto bk wk wr equals board abbreviations, and now bk is the reference to the black king and wk is a reference to the white king, and so on. So I don't have to type very long things when I'm doing difficult stuff like, I mean, this and this, not this. Oh yes, you see how I swap. So if you just want to mirror the whole board, then I do just one standard swap on 2 ints. And then all squares are flipped automatically because I'm using X and Y to access them. So that's definitely an improvement. I think this is more or less more readable than when you write out white king in full. Well, maybe not, but I like it that it is shorter actually. So yeah, abbreviations. I mean, if you write all this out completely with the full words, white rook, white king, black king, that's, nah, I like this much better. So that's about the abbreviations stuff. I'm not sure this is still used actually. Oh, it is used for printing, but it doesn't really need to be part of the class itself, does it? Oh, it's a return type for a lambda, yeah, and then it is needed. I did copy this one from the old file. So this is the UTF art instead of ASCII art. Prints a board using UTF-8 characters. And you print it to this O stream, but you can pass an arbitrary lambda to select whatever must be printed. So that allows me to print the same piece on multiple squares. So many rooks to show that the rook can be any of these squares. And this one uses that. This one does pass a lambda just to print the board itself. Probably not that one then. Yeah, this one. So this is the lambda that is being passed, and that simply says that simply prints each piece once. You know, when the black king is exactly equal to that position, then show a black king, and for the other 2 pieces as well. But yeah, it is possible to do it for multiple positions, of course, and then you get the same piece at multiple positions. Now think about it, maybe I can improve that a tiny little bit. Because if the black king and the white rook are at the same, oh no, it is already the case. So if the black king is at the same square as the white rook, then the black king took the white rook and I want to show the king. But since I'm testing pos against the black king first, it will show the black king and then it returns. So it doesn't put the white rook over it or anything. Yeah, of course I definitely want to keep this one. I should just ask myself, can I make this protected again? Maybe, let's try that. Yep, let's make it protected. Note that this board is now just a board. It doesn't talk about who is to move or anything else. It just has the pieces. Yeah, I think I also want to keep that way. Might be interesting to also include whose turn it is, but it's kind of, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to use 2 maps with a board as a key. And then one map has all the boards where it is white to play, and the other map has all the boards where it is black to play. I'm not sure if that really is any benefit over adding whose turn it is to this clause. but it works without. So yeah, then why would I add it? Maybe at most I can make a class, derive a class from board, and then add whose turn it is to that class then. And I already have that. That is my position. But that adds a lot more. So yeah, we'll have to see. Let's keep board the way it is, not being aware of whose turn it is. And then can I just replace the old board with it? What does old board have that we might want to keep? I can just print a board. Okay. Oh yeah, what it also has is of course a debug support. I have to add debug support. Let's see. Vertically heavy. This is a constant. Oh yeah, the old stuff has support for rectangle boards, and my new one is just squares. There's not really a reason for that. Also, this one has support for squares that are bigger than what I actually print. But I think all of that is not needed, and I could add it back, but it's just a lot of work, and yeah, I don't. Yeah, let's not do it. I'm just going to work with square boards, and I can always print less, I guess. Just tell the it's just a matter of printing. I could tell the print function to print a section of the board. So we can drop this. This one was copied, right? This board does have more information, including the to play. So I deliberately left that one out. And print flipped is very deliberately left out because that made things very difficult. We don't need a default constructor, I think. Constructor already have. I have accessors. The distance less is what I wanted to drop. I have full support for illegal. I don't need canonical anymore. We have printing, although maybe not do an O stream. I have to check that. Oh, fen. Yeah, maybe it's interesting to have this function. Okay, mirroring we do in a different way. Null move, I have to add it as well. Okay, some stuff must be copied. So let's go from board to no flip board. Let me check how the printing works. How the printing works? There's no support for printing at all. Oh, there is. Calling this. So I just have to call UTF-8 art now on an O stream to print it. So if I want to add my debug support back, then I do have do need to print on, I think, and I do want to do that. What do I need for the debug support? Let me add that here then. This. Maybe debug.h, but I'm not sure. Let's copy it already. I don't know. And there's more the support for using as print on. And then of course we need to copy the print on method itself. I think that print2 is then specifically for debug output, right? It's gonna, although it's a multi-line print, so I think that won't work actually. Why would I copy it then? Anyway, I'm gonna copy this and the null move. I'm not sure if this is debug code or not. probably need a null move. And we need to be able to change positions, apparently. I think, yeah, for generating moves. I'm not generating moves yet. So I'm going to have to add that as well then. And this is the UTF-8 art again, which I already copied. Do I have another print on? What the hell is this? This is debug code. Print on standard OStream or reference const. Oh, this is print 2. Just different. Yeah, I didn't even want to copy this then. Okay, confusing. Now I forgot if I already copied something. I think I did. Yeah, there's a null move. I didn't have a null move already. Oh, wait a minute. Board can't have a null move because we don't know whose turn it is. We don't care about that. So this has to go to the other class then. Let's add that one as well. The other class being position. So instead of the null move here, we put that here. Yeah, no, order is not important at the moment. Just as long as I copy everything. Do I call that to play? That's a good question. To move. It's called to move now. Okay, so the print on. Oh, I have a separate one for that one. Okay, just copy everything, I guess. And then we have everything, right? So I don't use a canonicalize. I already copied that. I copied that. I copied this to position. Don't do the mirror thing. I copied the fin. I copied the print 2. You don't do distance, don't do is canonical, I have that one, don't do that one. Accessor should go to position as well. I think I have other accessors already, constructors and stuff, yeah. I think the rest can be deleted. Now it's not going to compile, I'm pretty sure, after copying that. Because, it's just totally not going to compile. What do I need? I need to, at the very least, have a look at what this print 2 does. Okay, what F? Port.cxx. There is no print 2. There's no print 2. Okay. Already didn't know what it would do, so just delete it then. Okay, let's have a look at the print on. Oh yeah, debug, of course. Debug output print on is just printing everything on one line as it should for debug output. And of course I do need that one. If I do not already have it, I would think I do. Anything. Or maybe it's part of position. It's probably part of position. But yeah, come on. I want to be able to print a board as well. It's an object is an object. It should be able to print it. So let's add that one here. And then I'm just printing squares here. No. Previously it would actually print the object black king, as in it has the type black king, which has its own printing method, which prints black king and then the square. So let's do that still, so I get not confused ish, right? So then here we now must print that explicitly, and there was no space, I guess. So this is just black king, or brace open black king colon, and now we print a square. I do have access to the square because well, that is just the square here too, and I can just print black king, and then that is the square. And then here we get of course white king, and then this is going to be the white king, and then here we have the white rook. And then it should be printing it the same way as before. And the rest is non-existent, so we are going to end with the closing brace. I think that should do it. Yeah, and then yeah, this can be removed because I completely rewrote that stuff. This and less can be removed. Canonicalize, we don't need. Is canonical, we don't need. Yeah, we have the debug stuff again for printing. Yes, I do need that one. So let's copy this. I'll move that here, and it's also within the CW debug. Could put it here, I guess. Okay, let's see how that works. It passes a debug channel, which must be on, otherwise we don't do anything. And then I use a dout debug channel. This if const expression up, we can't do that. There's no const expression. Printing is we don't have that either. It's just a limit. It's actually the board size. Let me think. The board size is 10. Then we have 0 till 9. So 9 should not. Yeah. Okay. So it must be. Board size is 10. No. Yeah, it must be larger than 10 still. Okay. Board or ECC. This stuff, and then I delete all that information, and then later maybe I want to add it again. But well. Touch is live. This uses a raw UTF-8. Here we have a horizontal printing limit again. The vertical printing limit. Yeah, okay, let's rename all the n and m's to x and y. That's not really easy because it's such a short thing. As I search for n and you get stuff like this. Doesn't look nice. Might as well do it manually. So n is the x coordinate. You also need an x and a y for the index though. Let's see how that works. How do I get what is... Oh, I get that by calling? No, wait a minute. Yeah, this is... I'm constructing just a position for square from the n and the m. And then we compare that with the position of the blacking, etc. So really this could have been the same lambda. It's the same code. A duplication. Absolutely horrible. But I'm not accessing the individual x and y coordinates. So we don't need those indexes. The 0 and the 1. So you can just use an x for the n. So this is an x, and then this is an x, and this is an x. Place x, thank you very much. This is reasonably robust, I think. If I miss an n, then it's definitely not going to compile. The worst thing I could do is accidentally replace an m with an x, or so n must become x and m must become y. And it doesn't even change the code. I just want to do that because I switched from n and m to x and y. So now this is y. Let's might as well do that immediately here. M is y. Y. Let's fill. There's an m here. Place a y. Okay, that's confusing. Or not. That's just a new loop. X, X, and X. And here we create X and Y. Is that still working? Yeah, I have a constructor for that. It takes 2 ints. Print flipped. Well, we never flip anything. And then I want to get the black king position, which is now simply black king. And then we do print king 2, pass a color black, that should work. White king. See, we have a 2 fin. The fin must be added. And all of this is a member function of board. So yes, we had all that access. Still not very nice that this is a horrible code duplication. Well, really horrible, because this is almost the same thing. I have a raw UTF-8 here. That was already for this code duplication stuff, because yeah, it's code duplication, so. And no, I note that it's code duplication. I have to do the same thing twice, right? Arg. In the meantime, I can think about what else I need to do for this class. To be honest, I can't really think of anything. I think I copied all stuff, all the member declarations to the class. So if it compiles and it links, then I think we're done with this class. At the moment it won't link, I guess, because I don't think I copied all the corresponding and the definitions for all the declarations that I copied. But yeah, what the fuck is this? Oh no, never mind. Do we have that down there too? We should have. Print none2 and then a percentage a modulo 2 thingy. Just can't remember it. Yeah, we have it. And I forgot indeed to change it. I couldn't remember it because I didn't change it. Now I completely lost overview, so let's just try to compile this. Where's the first error? Failed. Flip position.o. That's this one, yeah, okay. Blah blah blah. Error, you need to include, okay, the debug stuff. Yeah. Well, all my in order to add my own debug support, libcwd stuff, every file, every .cxx file must begin with include sys.h. Well, not every, but any that includes a header that includes debug.h. Shift P. Yeah. Next 1, 2, Shift P. So if square.h does not include debug.h, then I don't really need to do this. But why wouldn't I? I think I just do it for every .cxx file. Done. And I can just do an A of all, and then we wrote everything. Okay, hop. Oh yeah, set the black. I just copied this without actually fixing it. So this must simply copy to black king, because that is a square now. Invalid operands for binary expression, OStream and const board. So I am trying to print a board and that is not possible because... interesting. So that should be normally automatically be fixed if I have included hasprint on, which I thought I already included in the header. I mean, we have a print on. It could be because that's not defined. Unlikely, I guess. Otherwise, yeah. Sorry, where did this happen? This is already inside this, so that macro is defined. And then here I have this and this. So there is no way that it doesn't work. Why? What is the problem? Candidate function not viable. No known conversion from board to square. So we have a thing to print squares. Has print on here. Requirement has print on. Const board was not satisfied. So it thinks that board does not have a has print on. Sorry, it does not have a print on. But I just added it. Board does not have. You see, T is board. So if you fill in T, board here, then the operator less than, standard operator OS, const reference board does not exist, it says. Which I would have, which I don't believe, I just added it. It's print on. There it is. Void print on, standard O stream. Oh. Huh? No, that's correct. No, sorry, yeah, what? Nah, anyway, this is how it should be. Yeah, beats me. What the hell is going on? Very old style. You can do this better in C++20. c'est bon. Yeah, thank you. I'm completely clueless. It should just work. Right. Anyway, in the end it comes down to claiming that we don't have a print on. So before this happens, I just call print on. Standard cout. Don't have the deep extreme there handy. And the first error is still there. So the print on does exist, and we can call it. How is it possible that suddenly my has print on does not work? Well, it works for a billion projects without fail. Okay, I have a theory. It's not public. Would that be the case? Flip. No flip boards here. It's not public. Dang. Yeah, I have to make it public. And the other one as well, I think. Print using and namesize utils. No member named, print using and namesize utils. Well, you got past that point. So apparently that that concept, what's not a concept, but ish, yeah, well, now it was not a concept. It was a requires, right? That or it was an S fine, yeah. Substitution failure is not an error thing. Fails if the function in question does exist but cannot be called because it is protected or private. Interesting to know. This is just a missing error. Print using is an utils print using.h. Yeah, it compiles, doesn't link yet. Undefined reference to board 2 fin. Yeah, you're right. I added the declaration but did not copy the implementation yet. So that is probably defined there, and I'm afraid that 2 fin needs to know whose turn it is. So I can't even add it. I can't even add it there. So I have to remove it from no flip board.h and then add it to no flip position.h, the declaration, and then move the definition from there to .cxx. Let's begin with that and blop. 2 fin, right? It's more complex now, damn it, because I did split the class in two. And I want to print the board as well. I can't do the fin there, but then damn it. Okay, let me think. Anyway, do fin. The do fin is not here. Where is the do fin then? Oh, this is in its separate file. So we're going to have to add this back, and then I added it now to position. And then we have to fix it, but just the first 3 lines, I think. Yes, so this is just yeah, that looks dirty, but it is actually just, I mean, I might as well add underscores everywhere, but let's begin with this. I don't know what happened. What is it called? Fin.cxx. Yes, and I renamed another one. I think I renamed square. Oh, what the hell? No flip square.h is gone, but this one is still here. It should be moved, I suppose, to square. Definitely need square here as well. Was there another one? No. Color already had color, yeah. And then this square is gone, obviously. Black king.h included by board.h included by fin. This is still called no flip. Then we have a position, usual undeclared position. Yeah, actually you need position and not board. No member named m in square, right. S is what? S is a square, okay. So that becomes now y. Why the hell would it put m first? Because it comes first in the alphabet, I suppose. Does look a little bit weird. Might as well swap these two. Less than that or larger than that. Yeah, I'm gonna swap them to x first. This board is an array. Put y first. Why? Why did it put y first? Ik word out. I probably should not touch that, right? Then I'm making it too... Well, I could do it everywhere, for every time we use board. I want to put x first. That does mean, however, that this one travels faster, right? So maybe you want to go left to right and then top to bottom. Okay, so maybe this should be y, indeed. So put y first. So the x travels faster. But then my x and y here must be 0 and 1, so you have to include that. Do you use that below as well? I'm not sure. Anyway, here we go. Using namespace coordinates for the x and y. And then this is a y, hopefully. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, and it is y, but now it's not an index, but the actual coordinate. Position. Okay, that was renamed to move. Undeclared to fen. Yeah, because that's not possible while printing this board. Because this is just a board and it doesn't know who's to move. I'm afraid we have to do the same thing for the position. And this and this comes at the end. Let me comment it out for now. No, that worked. Then I think I can just move them over the board, the existing board. Which leaves no flip position and the main executable. But I also have to get rid of all the no flip board includes, which are only 2. And then, well, the main problem here, I think, is adding debug support again for the position itself. If I want to print the position, apparently we could do that in many ways these days. Board.h and position.h. Yeah, no, just the print on is one thing, and then okay, then we have 2 UTF-8 arts, I think. There's a debug one and the normal one. That's really annoying, especially since it's code duplication. And I think I need the full support again for everything. So I'll copy this and put that in position. And this one should become if dev cw debug. Already have a print on. What the hell? Oh, like that. Yeah. I don't know. Let's in the name of no code duplication. Let me just print the board. We just put braces around its output. Not sure I want to add braces here as well. Maybe we should even remove the braces from the other thing. Normally I always have braces. This is just printing the members of the class. But and then we have also this for debug output now. the other debug outputs. Okay, so I need again this header. And again this header. It's a different type of header. And then we need to have implementations for whatever is not implemented now, which is all those functions, I guess. Let me just use the linker to tell me what it is. You gotta be kidding me. Why is this compiling? Oh, because they're not calling those functions. Unacceptable. Yeah, the print on we already had. Haha. So the whole print is just this. And then I think I have two of these. The debug UTF-8 art and UTF-8 art itself. And a static one. I don't need the static one though. It just prints the board. What the hell? Fin 2? Also not. I mean, why am I doing this in board dot? Oh boy, and I deleted the other one. I deleted the static one from board. They're completely gone now. That wasn't very smart. Oh wait, I have a trick. I just do quit. Obviously, undo. Okay, what to do? What the hell? No, like that. Lots of undos. And that board size equals 8 came from board.cxx. Commented it out. Yeah, it's basically this. Oh, that had to be that. Oops. No, that's only true for the debug one. So I wrote the implementation of this one, rather. So we put board in front of it. This class derives from board, right? So if you put board in front of it, then it's going to call the member function of the base class. Instead, or otherwise it would just call itself. You get infinite recursion. And here, well, we don't do that, I guess. So then this doesn't need to exist, because I call this UTF-8 art on this object, and it doesn't exist, and it's going to call the one of the base class for obvious reasons. So this should work. Debug channel must be passed, of course. It would be nice if you had a debug channel at all. I need to copy that one as well. Where is the debug channel defined? Grab sources, channel. Have all these alternate adjacent edge. It's part of graph stuff. I don't need to define anything yet, I guess. Can just print to DC notice. Should at least test it. Okay, let's test it. Let me just print this position. See if that works. No. What? Well, it would help if I initialized it, I guess. Namespace debug init. Okay, it prints it. I don't see a fan though. Why do we not have a fan? Oh, because the board size is not 8. Let's test that too. So I set it to 8. Oh, now it prints a fan. And I guess the fan is still making sense as well. Let's try that. look suspiciously much as what I just... What the hell? Yeah, I was working on that one, I suppose. But yeah, that is disposition. Can't make anything else of it. Okay, also working. Next question is then, what is there anything else that I need? No, because I already looked at it. We only had board here, and here we had board and position. Might as well rename this now to position then. So move. I'm not feeling super 100% sure. Let me have one more quick look to it, edit. Yeah, I mean... Okay, so these are all my new functions, and I will go over it if I have any viewers. I have 2 viewers. Not sure if they are actually watching, but maybe other people watch the stream afterwards, which I can never believe. But so this determines if and you think, why is it calling it a name and a date? Why so official? Because I had to write this 5 or 6 times, and every time I got something different. I had asked 2 AIs to write code as well, and they also got it wrong. And then I started to compare them, and then every time we had a position where one function said this and the other function written by me or the AI said something else. I looked at that one position and I manually figured out what it should be, and then depending on who was right or wrong, or the one that got it wrong, had to fix their code. So I could say to the AI, hey, this position, you say that, but it's not right. And then it fixes code. And if it's my code, which was as much as often as the AI's code, was wrong, then I debugged my code and said, oh, like that, and I had to fix my code. And we did that until we both got the exact same results. And then I wrote a new implementation, which again had errors in it. And it turned out that in the end, the function that I had where the AI and my code were equal, that was correct. Yeah, they were correct. But it took me again 2 days to write a better implementation. That is these. So these are simple and short and logical, and they produce the same output as the other 2 implementations. So it was such a lot of work that yeah, I started to add signatures to it. Okay, so the logic here is then something is legal. When is something legal? Well, the kings cannot be next to each other or occupy the same square. If the black king is next to the white king, then it is not legal. The white rook and the white king can't occupy the same square. Obviously, the white rook equals the white king, it's not legal. If the white rook and the black king occupy the same square, black just took the rook, if white is to play. Otherwise, the position is illegal. So allow this as an exception. Of course, it's not possible to have 2 pieces on the same square, but I do need positions where there are only 2 kings. And yeah, you have saw my class. I just have a coordinates for a rook. So the best way I thought to denote or encode the position where the white rook was just taken is where The white rook and the black king are on the same square, between quotes, and it is white to move. Then we have, if it is black to play in the remaining positions, then it is always legal. The only other reason, namely, that it is not legal is when the one that is to move can take the other's king. So this determines if black is in check. I mean, white can never be in check. So if it's not black to move, then it is white to move, and if it is white to play, and then the position is illegal if black is in check, right? So return not determined check. And that code is actually correct. If you look at it, like, yeah, of course this is correct. Well, I had functions, many, that looked equally logical and still didn't work. Determine mate is now nice, short, and it's just short, I guess. Well, logical, I don't know. So stalemate can only occur if it is black turn to move. I mean, if you say, it's mate, then it must be black that is mate. If it's stalemate, then it must be black that cannot move. Therefore, you determine mate, right? So mates and stalemates. If black is not to move, then it's definitely not mate or stalemate. Otherwise, I check if black can move, and this includes moving off the board, out of the right edge and the bottom edge, which are vertical edges, because the board is actually infinitely large in those two directions. So if black can move, then then it's not stalemate and also not mate, logically. If black cannot move, then it's mate if it is check. So if black is check, then it's mate, otherwise it's stalemate, because there's no move. Super logical, but had to really work hard on that function. And then we have determine draw. Okay, so if white is to move, the position is only draw if the rook was captured. That is again the position where white is to move and these two are on the same square. Then the rook was just captured, and well, that then is the draw, obviously. Furthermore, if it is stalemate, and note that now black is to move, because we always leave if white is to move. So we're not wasting CPU here or anything. It could be stalemate or mate. If it is stalemate, well, then it's a draw. And then we get a long story. If the black king is... Sorry. If the black king... Oh, dat is a word. Black king is in a corner of an edge and a vertical edge, aka there or there. This is a vertical edge, this is a vertical edge, real edge, real edge. Then it has two potential squares to step out of reach, marked by R and K. So from here it can go to R or it can go to K, and from here it can go to R or K. See below, the only way to stop the black king from going to K is if the white king is opposite of the black king. Yeah, this square has to be stopped by the white king. It can also be stopped by the rook, but then, well, the rook is here. But then it can always step to R. So maybe I wrote it wrong here. R can only be stopped by the rook. Maybe we should reverse it. No. The only way to stop the black king from going to R is if it is Röntgen protected by the white rook. So the white rook looks at R through the black king. That is, if the king would move here, it's still attacked. Now, most notably, I did that wrong at first, one of the many things. If the rook is here, then it's not mate, but it is also not a draw. See, before I was just testing if it is mate, then it's not a draw, otherwise it's a draw if the king is on the edge. But if the black rook is here, it's not mate, because the king can just take the rook. It's not mate. But it's also not a draw, because the king cannot step outside of the board yet. And now I do the nice trick, get the default coordinates in x and y, and then I can just use those as to tell whatever which coordinate I want, the x coordinate or the y coordinate. And if I do a standard swap x and y, then I swap the coordinates by accessing the other element of the array there. Simplify the code below. Let's flip the position if the king on the right vertical edge. So if the x coordinate equals to the vertical edge here, 3 in this case because the board size is 4, and then we flip the board in this diagonal line. So now the king is on the bottom vertical edge or at no vertical edge at all, because if it was on this edge, it got there. If it was not on this edge but already on this edge, it's still on this edge, and only if it was not on any vertical edge, it's still not on any vertical edge. So now if the y coordinate, that is the vertical thing here, is that not equal to board size -1, then it is not here, and then it's just not on the edge, and then it is therefore not a draw. Now the black king is on the bottom vertical edge, so it's one of these positions. Hence it is a draw, unless the position is position A, this position, where the white king is opposing the black king and the rook is on the preventing it from going to 0-4. Which you can then express as this Boolean expression. Now this classifies stuff, so I just set the bits for each thing, so they can very quickly, later on, very quickly see which position is a draw or mate or stalemate. So just have a bit set. This is just the function that runs over all possible positions. And then for each legal position, calls classify and stores it. Printing. Now I'm explaining that anyway. Showing that anyway, rather. Here I have another one with a signature. The black has moves. So this function assumes that black is to move. They should only be called when black is to move. And we can check that by calling a vertical function. That is only here because, yeah, I want to check if this is really only called when black is to move. Because the board itself is not aware who is to move. Now I do this again, just get my x and y, and I get abbreviations. The black king is to move, but isn't mate or stalemate. Sorry, if the black king is to move, but isn't mate or stalemate, then black can move. Makes sense, yeah? It can only be mate or stalemate at the edge of the board. Thus, if the black king is neither on the real edge on the left nor at the top edge, then it definitely has moved. You cannot give mate in the middle of the board. So if we pass this point, then now the black king is somewhere against the real edge. And then I say again, to simplify the code below, let's flip the position if the king is not against the left edge. And so if the x coordinate is not 0, then we flip it, and which means that now, of course, the king is against that edge, because all of these positions are flipped. Well, actually, those positions are flipped. If the black king y is unequal 0, that means that it is not in the corner. Then we come here. If the king is not in the corner, then it can't be stalemate. It's impossible. You might have to be in the corner to be stalemate. It can only be made if the white king is opposite of the black king. Thus, if the white king is not opposite of the black king, return true, then it can move. The black king is now against the left edge, but not in the corner, and the white king is opposing it. Therefore, it is either this, or this position. Still, the black king can move unless it's made. It can only be made if the white rook is also against the left edge. Thus, if the white rook does not have an x-coordinate of 0, then it's definitely black can definitely move. And then finally, it's made unless, and now it's made unless the rook can be captured, or the king already captured the rook. So we can just look at the absolute distance, absolute value of the difference between the y-coordinate of the black king and the white rook, so less or equal 1. Then black can move. And if this failed, then black is in the corner. This is the longest function by far. So we don't really care about whether or not black is in check. We only need to know if one of these squares here are surrounding it are covered by white, because we're only interested in if black can move, right? That's what this function is returning. So I think black here, is black to move here? Because then I don't need to check this. Black is to move. Oh, okay. That is nonsense then. White is not to move, then this position should never happen. Why would I check it then? Must also be legal positions, apparently. Yeah. Now, I leave it in, although this can never happen, right? The point being that if the rook is here, then it also covers those two squares. Let me make sure if I comment this out, then stuff still works. That's what I mean. It seems so logical. Oh, wait a minute. It's not what I mean. I thought it broke stuff, but the only numbers I'm used to is oh wait, I did not rename that one yet. I think these are the correct numbers. Yeah. Another output like it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that yeah, you can actually comment that out then. This was in board. Okay, so in order to cover these three squares, we need the king to be there, there, or there at the very least. Because at least one of these squares must be covered by the king, otherwise you can't do it. The rook can't cover all three. That even holds if the rook could be on 0-0. So I put the king here, or there, or there, or there, or there, and then filled in all the positions where the white rook can be, such that it is stalemate or mate. These are mate and these are stalemate, and in both cases black has no moves. So here we can check that the king must be on one of those squares at the very least. And we know that this is a legal position, so if the king is within this little square, and then it cannot be next to the king or on top of the black king, then therefore the king is now on one of those positions, which are exactly the ones that I want to test. And then if you place the rook here, then it is stalemate. So we test that. If the rook is at 1-1, then we have no moves. And then the only positions left to check are with the rook not here, which is slightly easier to check, I guess. Because, well, at least one king position dropped out. So the king is here. So this is just checking position A, B, C, and D. And then we have the determined check. This position must also work for illegal positions, because I use it in the is illegal the determine legal check. Okay, but only for where the white rook can. Sorry. This function must also work for a legal position where white's rook can capture the black king. Yeah. It does not have to work for illegal positions where the two kings are next to each other. So basically what this does is simply to check if the black king and the white rook are on the same file or the same row without the white king in between. So it's a direct line of sight, and then it doesn't matter whose turn it is. So we set up the coordinates again and the abbreviations. And then I check if the black king and the white rook are on the same file and or the same row. If those are both true, then the rook was captured and there's no check. It's both the same file and the same row and the same file, then they are on the same square. If both are false, then the black king and the white rook are not on one line, and so it's also not check. So it's kind of an exclusive OR thing here. So now it's either on the same file or on the same row. And if it's not on the row, then we swap. So now it is on the same row. That's the only thing I have to take into account. So horizontally, they are on the same row. And then, if the white king is not on that row, so the white king Y is not on the black king or the white rook's Y, then it isn't check, right? Then it is check, because then the white king is not definitely not in the middle. And otherwise, the x coordinate must still be checked, and then it's not check if the white king is in between in terms of the x coordinate. Now that was what I did, I think, in the last four days. Oops. I'm feeling good, because when I started this story, I had 2 viewers, and I thought, well, let's explain it, and I covered it. And now I looked at how many viewers I have, and I thought, I bet it's 0 now, and then I would have been depressed. But I have 3 viewers, yay! So people, at least someone probably might have been interested. Kotaro said something. Are you implementing something like this? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Internet. I'll have a look, although I really hope that they don't do exactly what I'm doing now. Wikipedia.org with an A. Is that wiki? It does not have. Guess I can't type. Well, something like it, but not entirely, because I have a quarter internet board. So I do have a corner somewhere. Otherwise, you can't give mate with just the one rook. And I don't have all the pieces like here. This is just really chess, and then start playing. I only have 2 kings and a rook. Difficult. Yeah, so vaguely, yes. I'm just having a real corner here, and then this is infinite. Here the board, and then I only have one white rook in my program. Okay, I think I looked at them, and I can simply rename them now, right? So this becomes position.h, and this one becomes position.cxx. Okay. Now let's remove this print again. Okay, let's make it silent. Debug channel off. I think I'm not sure I can make it silent in here. Silent is on. No, why not? Yeah, there is something else. I have now a search in. What the hell am I using a search in utils? What? Like to move is used in an insert now. Then this must be if cw debug. Uh-oh, which one was that? Just like to move. What the hell? Yeah, and then the last no flip file. I had this. That was my main program that I developed on the stream. And this is our new version. question is, what do I want to keep of this? Well, this one creates a graph, or at least it attempts to create a graph. And then we do something interesting with the graph, I suppose. What exactly are we doing here? I convert a graph, I think. All squares that a rook can stand on, given the squares of the kings and the number of ply. Map with rook positions as functions of king positions, given the ply, the number of ply. A vector with the kings to rooks type maps for each given ply. Who the hell wrote this? It's like Chinese. For a given number of ply that a position must be made. The map to use. And then the sentence continues. To run over all positions that are made in ply. Yeah, I'm gonna change. I'm going to use move instead of ply because I'm getting totally sick of this kind of thing. So we need a graph which generates stuff, probably the whole graph. And I need to be able to extract a vector or something that with all positions that are made in that given number of ply moves. That gives me a position type, which is a vector of iterators to nodes type. Where nodes type is a standard map, mapping a board. It probably should be positioning to data. Yeah, okay, here it gets foggy. It's not how I want to keep it. I have to rewrite stuff. But more or less this code should be preserved. I suppose I should start to concentrate on fixing graph itself. I think I'm going to bed. It's almost 2 a.m. Getting late. Yeah, I'll continue tomorrow. After drinking this glass of water. More. That will teach me. Waking up in the middle of the night. I talk like Yoda. I should have said, waking up in the middle of the night will teach me not to drink this much water. I talk like I code. I just start somewhere and then I type a little bit here and a little bit upwards and a little bit down. Well, you saw me code. All over the place. I don't think I ever write one line completely. Well, of course I do sometimes. One game in play? What is this? Oh, this is an 1800. Like a few months ago, I was afraid of those guys. See, my rating has gone up. I'm again in the 1800 something templates. Yes, I win everything. So I don't know what it is. I think I started to eat some type of nuts. What are they called? Almonds. Yeah. The theory that since I eat the almonds, my rating has gone up. It must contain something that my brain was missing. There is still hope. You can't push that. Certainly not anymore now. Well, I can push this one. It's probably going to. Definitely going to. Just do it already. And then I'll play this, I think. The why not move? But yeah, then I get a check. It's not winning me much. Maybe first this pawn. But then I have to take back if the pawn takes here with my pawn and then my knight is hanging. Oh. Oh, it's anyway. So if he pushes and I put my knight here and he takes, well then I can take the bishop first. If I would not do that and he takes my pawn and I take with a rook, then he has a fork. And otherwise I have to take with this pawn anyway, and knight hangs if this one moves, like taking here or something. It's already check. My God. What the heck? I understand he wants to put the knight there, probably to go here and then win equality or something. But I'm not super happy that my knight... I wanted to play my knight here, so it could also cover this, so I can, say, play my bishop here, but... He wants to keep in the threat of knight here and here. I can understand that. So that maneuver now would cost a pawn. I'm not going to do that, and I can move my knight here, which then also covers this square. It's not too bad. Did I give away a pawn? Oh shit. No, I did not. I can take here, but then I lose my quality. So I take here. And then I can take here, and then I can give check and just move away, no problems. And I covered these two squares, so the rook cannot come in at all. As soon as this thing moves, the bishop might give here a nasty check. But yeah, king can move forward and have this square a lot. So I can just come forward now. think he's threatening to take here or not. Will I take back and then I get a check? But the rook here cannot be played because the bishop is on it. So that is a threat. Threatening to take stuff here. No, my knight is protecting that square, so this is not a problem at all, actually. I think I want to have this one here, but then my knight can not go anywhere. Maybe this one is better. I could maybe put something here or not. So knight takes, lose a pawn. I really need to get my bishop there, man. That is a nasty pin. I'm definitely worse here. Definitely worse. Then I lose my bishop. Tung 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 tung. Cannot go there. How about 2 places? I can also go here. Although, no, then he takes here and if I take back I lose my knight. Because that thing is pinned. With jack, that would be nasty. I guess I just take back. Oh, that wins equality. That was a good... He saw that. Actually, if I take back with the rook, I lose equality. But if I take back with the king... I guess I got lucky there. And now I can finally go here. I think that development is so overdue that you can give that check. I don't really care. Oh no, I'm losing this pawn now. That's bad. Damn it. Yeah, that is not good. That is not good, man. And he threatens to give check here now. Definitely not good. Did I just lose another pawn? You gotta be kidding me, man. It's just 1 pawn down in total. I'm almost mate. Shit. This is mate. I have only 1 square left. Which is maybe also mate. Okay, this thing goes away and then I just take here. No, because he goes away there, I have to go there and he can take my bishop. What to do? Okay, give check. Nobody knows why I would do that. So he goes away, check, and then I go here. It's kind of a why not move. Oh, I should have gone the other way. Yeah, well played. Definitely. No, I shouldn't play chess online, apparently. Maybe that's the reason. I stopped playing chess while streaming. And then my rating went up. This talking business, talking while playing chess, it's not really working. Okay, we're gonna pretend that there are no viewers. There's no viewers, I just know it. Everyone left, chess, boring. So I stop talking and I play one more game. Damn it. Time. Oh shit. Mate. Bishop here. Ah, fuck. You don't believe this. Don't believe it. They lost it. Oh, he is not giving the mate. But now I have nothing left, do I? I have to cover the bloody mate. I could have taken the rook. Oh shit, I could have taken the rook. Knight takes rook. Yeah, that was annoying. Is annoying. Shit. Yeah, should have taken the rook. Then I'm winning still. He had mate in 1. I saw that as well. I could have taken the rook here. Oh, did I miss it? Yeah, he takes it, and then you think that it's possible for some reason. Ah, this is nasty. Now +8, and I give it away. What the fuck did I do? It just went away. Time pressure, right? Yeah, this is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Ah, man. Fuck this, man.